As fears grew after weeks of seismic activity in the town of Grindavik in Iceland, a volcano has dramatically erupted, expelling spectacular bursts of lava onto the landscape and emitting huge plumes of smoke into the sky. Scientists fear that the eruption might escalate, and the lava would flow into the town of Grindavik and the nearby power station. There are also fears of gas pollution spreading to the capital, and problems arising for air travel if the situation gets any worse. Experts hold divergent views on the forthcoming consequences, casting the lives and future of locals into uncertainty. Join us today as we explore this volcanic eruption and the terrifying situation unfolding in Iceland. The eruption on the Reykjanes Peninsula began at around 10 p.m. local time on the 18th of December, following a series of earthquakes around an hour earlier. The Icelandic Meteorological Office reported that the eruption was located close to Hagafell, about 2 miles north of the town of Grindavik. Iceland's Coast Guard posted a video showing one of its helicopters at the scene, hovering over a long line of glowing lava spurting from the fissure in the ground. The air was shrouded by smoke and lit in glowing hues of orange and red. In the first 2 hours of the eruption, hundreds of cubic meters of lava were being released per second. The Icelandic Met Office initially said the magma was moving to the southwest and that the eruption might continue in the direction of Grindavik. Then, the crack in the Earth's surface was about 2.1 miles long and had grown rapidly. The southernmost point of the fissure, which had since grown to 4 kilometers long, was still 3 kilometers away from Grindavik. But the eruption's intensity and the level of seismic activity in the area had decreased by early Tuesday, with lava spreading laterally from either side of the newly opened fissures. By late morning on Tuesday, lava from the eruption appeared to be flowing away from the town, offering hope that homes that have survived the weeks of earthquakes in Grindavik might be spared. This is the 4th eruption in the area since 2021 and the largest so far. Since October 24, 2023, there have been more than 1,000 earthquakes in a short time. Things got intense with 800 earthquakes in just one day. The seismic activity had caused the town to sink 3 feet, and the earthquakes opened up deep cracks in the roadways, closing the streets and making travel impossible for the foreseeable future. But then suddenly the seismic activity began to decrease in the region, and scientists continue to closely monitor the area due to the potential significance of this change. This decrease in earthquakes, even if it seems like a good thing, needed to be looked at very carefully. Scientists cautioned that the diminished seismic activities do not necessarily signify the absence of danger. The situation remained highly unstable, suggesting that the decrease in earthquakes may indicate a shift in the volcano's operational phase. This alteration could indicate a gradual ascent of magma towards the surface beneath the ground. The authorities in Iceland ordered everyone to leave their homes quickly when a fissure had formed underground, stretching 15 kilometers long, with magma entering into a crack beneath the surface. The vertical movement of molten rock through this channel posed multiple risks. Observations revealed that the magma tunnel is rapidly expanding and bulging, heightening concerns about a potential eruption. Eventually, that fissure reached the surface, with magma flowing from a 4-kilometer-long fracture. When the underground magma tunnel formed in November, people had to evacuate their homes overnight as the threat of a volcanic eruption loomed. The government also began constructing a protective barrier to safeguard the Svartsengi geothermal power plant in the southwestern region. Positioned approximately 3.7 miles or 6 kilometers from the town, this power plant faces a significant risk from potential lava flows triggered by the eruption. Given its pivotal role as a source of power for the entire country, protecting the Svartsengi geothermal power plant is imperative. The Blue Lagoon Spa, one of the country's most popular tourist attractions, reopened on Sunday for the first time in more than a month, despite the fears of a potential volcanic eruption. But by Tuesday, another statement was released saying it had once again closed due to the unpredictability of the situation. In the end, the magma burst through the Earth's crust a mile and a bit out of Grindavik. The power station providing electricity to thousands of homes and the tourist magnet the Blue Lagoon Spa have all been saved by topography, with the undulating ground diverting the rivers of lava away from infrastructure. But the authorities aren't taking any chances though. They filled in the last gap in the protective wall that now rings the power station, and the people of Grindavik won't be allowed back until scientists are certain that the eruption has waned for good. Sadly, it is unlikely that Grindavik's residents would get the chance to celebrate Christmas in their own homes. But after all, people here are resilient, used to living alongside volcanoes. Iceland has a history of volcanoes that have changed how the land looks. For centuries, these eruptions have affected the landscape and the people who live there. Iceland sits on a tectonic plate boundary that continually splits apart, pushing North America and Eurasia away from each other, along the line of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. It is home to 32 active volcanoes. As such, the island nation is accustomed to volcanic eruptions, though they often occur in the wilderness, away from populated areas. The Bardarbunga volcanic system, situated in the center of the country, erupted in 2014, producing lava that covered 84 square kilometers of highland that didn't damage any communities. The Fagradalsfjall volcanic system erupted in 2021 for the first time in more than 6,000 years. It also didn't threaten populated areas and even became a tourist attraction as people flocked to witness the eruption. Experts don't expect the current volcanic eruption to cause the same level of chaos as that seen in 2010 when the Eyjafjallajökull volcano erupted, since it is unlikely to involve the glacial ice that led to a huge ash cloud. About 100,000 flights were canceled, affecting 2 million people, as a result of the ash spewed out by the 2010 eruption, which threatened to stall aircraft engines and cause electrical failure. According to officials, the current eruption does not pose a threat to life, but the area was closed to all traffic, and people were strongly warned not to enter the area. Police officials said that scientists would need several days to assess the situation and that roads were only open to emergency responders and teams working with the authorities in the danger zone near Grindavik, as the gas emitted from the volcano can be dangerous for people. As the smell of smoke and ash is being picked up as far as 30 kilometers from the eruption site, it is likely that the gas pollution could hit Iceland's capital. At the same time, there are fears that more magma could yet flow from deep within the earth to fuel the fire fountains and perhaps open up new fissures. Even though it was predicted that this eruption could cause problems to air travel, there were no immediate disruptions to flights to and from Iceland, and international flight corridors remained open. Icelandair released a statement on Tuesday morning, reiterating that the incident had not affected their flight schedule. The country's national carrier added that it was monitoring the situation and would keep passengers informed of any further developments. Fissure eruptions do not usually result in large explosions or significant production of ash dispersed into the stratosphere. But officials say it is difficult to say how long the eruption will last, as it depends on the supply of magma from underneath the surface, meaning the eruption could go on for anywhere between a week to several months. We can only pray for the best and hope that the eruption is controlled. Right now, scientists are closely monitoring the situation at Grindavik and all signs point to a manageable eruption, yet scientists say it is impossible to predict what exactly will happen in the upcoming days. But there is no cause for panic as Icelandic authorities and the public are highly prepared for such events, and Iceland has one of the world's most effective volcanic preparedness measures. Stay tuned, as we hope to bring you more updates on this situation in the upcoming days. Leave your thoughts about Iceland's volcanic eruption in the comments section below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.